Well, good morning, everyone. It is Monday morning, and welcome to Facebook Live with Amy Jasper on Inking on the Fly at 10:30-ish. That is kind of the way it ends up being. I don't know why, but that's how it is. So here I am, and I have a project for you that's a little different than what I usually do. I tend to focus on creating cards for you, but this time I have a home decor project that I thought I would share. So welcome. So thanks for joining me. If you don't know who I am, my name is Amy Jasper. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada. I have been stamping for 15 years with Stampin' Up! That is a long time, and I still love it. So it's gonna just be more and more and more all the time. So today I wanted to share a home decor project using the hand-penned Memories and More card pack. So these pieces here are all elements from the hand-penned Memories and More card pack. These can be used for cards as well as memory keeping. And for me today, I'm going to use them for a home decor project. So I'm going to make an framed project that will fit in an IKEA frame. And I'm not sure if they still sell these frames at IKEA, but I'm sure you could find something similar and adapt it. So this is an IKEA shadow box frame. Shadow boxes are awesome for being able to use things with layers and ribbon and texture and stuff. So then you don't end up crushing and flattening your projects, but they're still protected under the glass. So that's what I'm going to be using today. Okay, so these are the three of the card elements I'm going to use for this project. And it all begins, I haven't actually put it together yet, so it's just laid out beside me. So hopefully I can actually make this work. Okay, so it's all going to start with a piece of basic white cardstock. This is cut to fit the frame. So the frame fits an 8.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock. It does have a mat inside that frame, so if you wanted to make something smaller, the mat that comes with the frame will fit. I think it's a 5" by 5" piece of artwork or photograph in the middle. But I wanted to use the whole thing so I could really show off some various papers. So I wanted to do some stamping. This is the part I haven't really thought through very well, but I think it'll come together. So we're going to do some stamping, and I can't decide if I want to use fresh freesia in my background for just some light line art stamping, or Daffodil Delight. I think I'm leaning more toward the Daffodil Delight. Let's do that. Actually, I'll do some on both sides, and maybe then we can kind of compare and see which we like better. It's going to be really subtle, so it's not a major element, but it's going to add a bit of a little bit of something, if you know what I mean. So I need my stamp, which I have misplaced because that's kind of the way I roll. Where did I put it? Maybe it's under this pile to my left. Haha, it is. Okay. So this is the hand-penned petals stamp set. I'm just going to use this floral image here, which I don't even know if it's clean because I kind of put it away in a hurry, which is also kind of my style. There's a reason, my friends, why my why I've called myself Inking on the Fly. It's because I do a lot of things kind of in that way of life in my stamping world. I do a lot on the fly. And sometimes that's how my creativity flows. I'm just using a baby wipe to quickly clean my stamp. It had yellow on it, so was doing okay. We're going to use Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going to stamp I'm going to have layers of paper over top of this, so I'm just going to stamp kind of in the corners, around the edges, to add some interest in behind. I think I want to keep it inside the frame, so we're going to, let's do one up here. And one over here. Let's do one stamped off. I don't really want them just in the corners. I'm gonna maybe, I don't know where I want them. Let's just sort of keep it in the corner maybe. Maybe I'll do one a little higher up, but stamped off. Ooh, I like it stamped off. And then it wasn't higher up. I wanted it higher up. Wow, so much for that. Okay. I don't know, folks. I'm going with the flow. We'll just stamp. Let's just stamp and see what happens. So a lot of the middle section's not going to show. Did I stamp that off? No, I want to stamp it off. Stamp it off. It's like the Taylor Swift. Shake it off, but stamp it off instead. I don't know. Let's just keep going. Run with it, right? I can always flip it over and do the other side if I don't like it. I don't know what's going to show, what's not. We'll just go with that. I can always add a little bit or take away if I want to. Okay. I can't take away. That doesn't make sense. But I can flip it over and do it differently. That's what I meant by that. I can't take it away. I don't have an eraser for this kind of ink. Okay, so we have some other elements that we're going to work with here. Let me just get them organized. Oh, I just want to remember what my plan was though, because I have it laid out to have a plan. So I am going to have, let's just take these pieces. These are pre-cut. So I have, this one is Night of Navy. And it measures what, 5.5 by 7. So that's going to go on here, and see, it's ending up covering up a lot of my stamping, so that works for me. And then this here, I don't know if you've seen this in the catalog. This is the ombre specialty paper. It comes in a few colors, and it's like glimmer paper, but the glimmer is quite flat, like it doesn't come off on your hands. It's got a kind of a coating on it, I guess. So that's it's really pretty. So that's how it's going to look. So yeah, I think I'm okay with where I put my hints of yellow on there. I think that works for me. I might even want a little bit more up here. I don't know. Do I? Yeah, we'll leave it how it is. Okay. That's not showing on the page very well, is it? It's a little bit crowded. My camera might be a little close. That's okay. It's just going to have to be that way. I'll zoom out, or I'll show a better picture on my Facebook page later. Okay, so these I'm going to attach those directly to one another. And as you know, I really like my Tombow liquid glue, so we're just going to go with the Tombow liquid glue. Let's start with the navy. And it's nice with scrapbook or these kind of pages because I don't have to worry about, like, I can add a lot of texture and because it's going to be in that shadow box frame. I'm just checking my dimensions, make sure it is centered. Pretty good. Centered, I mean border, even border around that edge. Okay, then we have our ombre specialty paper, and this I cut, it goes quite a bit lighter on that one end and quite a bit darker on the other end. So I kind of went with sort of the middle-ish section of the paper. And this is, I don't know what this is, 6.5, I think, 6.5 square. So that's gonna go framed and straight. So I'm using my grid paper just to make sure that I'm as straight as I can be. And I don't even know. Now the trick is, as long as I'm straight with my other, see this layer looks crooked now, dagnabbit. Okay, well I'll make it straight with that layer because that layer's not straight, but it also already glued down. So I'll trim around the edges, I think. Oh, I don't know, of the other elements. Let's see. How do I make sure I'm straight? Let's grab a ruler. Because this is a bit wider, it's harder for me to kind of eyeball it. So I'm going to measure with my ruler. This is about 1 inch, and that is, oh, it's pretty close. 1 inch. It is actually. Okay. Seems to be straight. I don't know. Looked crooked, but it's probably just my eyes tricking me. Okay, so there we have that ombre piece. Then I want to add, I'm just going to keep layering. So now I'm going to add these 3 layers, kind of how I'm holding them right now. So they're going to go like that, I think, but, oh, and I like the yellow. I'm glad I chose yellow. Okay, yellow's working for me. So that's how they're going to end up. So these bottom layers, these 2, I think I'm going to just attach those directly. So because I want to maintain my plan, I'm going to attach them together first, and then adjust them. Hi, Kim. Thanks for watching. Yeah, the card packs are just a really nice way, I don't know, they just have some variety in the patterns, and you can work with the larger sizes and the variety of sizes. I didn't even cut these ones down at all, these 2 larger pieces, but I'll do some funky things with them anyways. So that is going to go like that, methinks. Maybe down, I don't know, maybe down a little bit. There. And Tombow liquid glue, of course, is great with any rough surface. You're going to have really good connection with the glue against that rough surface because it's liquid. Okay, looking good so far. All right, next is this element. Hi, Judy. Thanks for watching. What room will I put it in, Kim? I don't know. I was thinking I might like give it away. Oh, see, and I lied. It's not connecting well. Let's do a little more glue. Oh, because I didn't glue that part. That's why. That's why it didn't glue there. There was no glue. This piece here is from the In Color 6x6 Designer Series paper pack. I quite like these monochromatic kind of elements. And that's the early evergreen, or sorry, evening evergreen. I keep calling it early evergreen. Don't know why. Okay, then this piece is going to go, what was I doing with this piece? I think I had it pretty much centered on the glitter element there. But before I put that one down, I think I want to give it a bit of texture. So I'm going to rough up the edges with my scissors. And I don't know if you've ever seen me do this kind of technique. It's a bit like nails on the chalkboard to do this, but I just take my, it's kind of like shaving. If you're shaving a man with a straight razor, which I've never done, I've seen it on the movies. It's almost the same thing as doing it yourself, right? Anyways, I'm just taking the edge of my scissors, and it's parallel or perpendicular this way, but then I have them at an about a 45-degree angle, leaning toward me as I pull toward myself, and that will give me some texture. I find that scrapbook pages and home decor stuff like this, it's really nice to have a little bit of texture for the sake of interest. This is making a bit of a mess, but bear with me. Another way to add texture is stitching, and that would, you know, in hindsight, that would have looked really nice on this piece too, especially if you do texture and stitching, like with your sewing machine. The other side of this even kind of works with the colors. So if I want to show the other side of this paper by folding over an edge, adding some more distressing that way, it would work. I haven't decided if I want to do that. Maybe I do. We'll find out. Because this idea has not fully been developed in my brain. Mostly it has. But you know, you get an idea in your brain, you lay it out, it all works together, and then when you finally start gluing it together and doing your stamping and, you know, making all the magic happen, and suddenly you think, oh, this isn't working as well as I thought. Let's see what we can do to change it. So hopefully that doesn't happen while you guys are watching, because that can be a bit tedious to watch. I try not to do that with you guys when you're watching. That's kind of my own thing at home by myself when nobody's getting bored. All right, I think we're getting somewhere here. It can be a little tricky to get the corners with this technique, because they're not as, like, they get a little, you lose some of the structure and then it moves around on you, so it can be a bit tricky to get those corners. Okay, now that I've made a nice mess, we have some texture. Let's just dust off this, all the little paper bits onto the floor so I can vacuum them later, you know, like in a month. It's kind of how I do things. I'm usually peeling like things off of my feet after I've been in my stamp room, because there's so much paper scraps on the floor and little edges of what do you call it, like the backings that you peel off of things. So I'm just rolling the corners to get a little texture in the corners. Sometimes it's nice if that paper peels away, like separates, then you can get some interesting things going on. I think I just want those corners messed up a bit here. But if I keep working on this corner, then it's going to separate. Let's see if it will do it now. Yes, see how it does that? I've got the layers separated a little bit, which just adds some fun texture. Like it, yes. Okay, that wasn't in my plan. Let's see how that looks. Maybe I'll hate it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I will. I think I like it. So this one, I think I will put up because it has some nice texture. It's interesting. I think I'm going to let's soften these corners. I'm not going to rough these corners up as much, but I'm just going to just soften them a bit so they're not quite so square. Isn't this pretty? I wish that they had a stamp that coordinated with that flower in the stamp set, but they don't. But that's okay. We have what we have. So I'm just carrying on, distressing the edges just a bit more, just so they're not so straight. There. Okay, so that one I'm going to put on with dimensionals. So I have some mini dimensionals, and see the back of this is quite pretty. That would have been nice on a, it's nice and large too. That would have been a great one to put on a home decor page as well. But I just wanted the flowers. These are the little things that stick to my feet all the time. Sometimes I actually have a full dimensional, like full dimensional stuck to my foot. And then there's things like rhinestones that stick, whoops, that stick to my feet as well. And then I'm walking around with a rhinestone on my foot. It's a thing. Okay, so this guy's gonna go here. Look at that texture. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, so he's gonna go there. Loving it. Okay, so far so good. Let me hold it up a little bit so you guys can see. So there's the nice texture on there. Right, loving it. Okay, I just need to make my screen a little brighter on my phone so I can see what I'm doing through my phone better. Okay, I'm really liking this. I'm liking the yellow peekaboos on the corners. That's awesome. Next thing I want to do is take this element here. We're going to use that one. It's going to layer up like that, methinks, ish, somewhere in there. But I don't like how flat it is. So I took one of these and I actually I fussy cut that out. That way I can put that up on dimensionals over top of that vacant area there and give a little more shape. Before I do that though, I think what I want to do is sponge around the edges of this piece. So let me just move this out of the way. And this is Misty Moonlight. So I have my blue, it's sort of just a generic blue blending brush. I last used it with Misty Moonlight, but I think, I'm going to do Misty Moonlight, but I have a feeling, if I can find it, oh yes. I'm wondering if I might want to go with Night of Navy around the edges, but we'll see. So I just want to deepen the color a little bit around the edges with my blending brush. So I'm just going to go in really lightly. If you're going in light, you'll have a more even distribution, a softer blend of color. If you go in too heavy, you might end up with some variations that you didn't expect, and it might be harder to blend those out afterwards. So go in light, because you can always add color. And I did trim this piece, actually. This piece has been trimmed down because I wanted it to fit over top of a die cut. So I'll show you that in a second. So this just gives a bit of, I guess, like a vignette. So a little bit of shadow around the edges, just to deepen the color, make it a little more of a rich color. And it's very subtle, but I'll show you the difference between this and the piece that I don't do it to. So I'm pressing a little harder because I want a little bit more than what I'm getting. I just want to really deepen that color around the edges. It gives that, it helps the focal point to be more in the center when you have a darker edge. Okay, let's see. Oops, a little bit more here. Let's see if I like that. See, oh, that's nice. Yes, so look at the difference. So here's one. So the one on the right is the one that I added the color to the edges, and see how much darker it is. It didn't look that, like I thought, oh, I barely put anything on there, but when you look at them and compare the two, it's quite different. But you see how it makes it so rich, just really helps your, it just draws the eye in more to the middle. Things don't look quite so flat, and not just because this is cut out. But that will help too. So yeah, sponging around the edges, even with just cardstock, can make such a difference. Okay, so we'll go back to this. So I'm going to kind of lay this, oh yes, I'm going to put it on. So I have die cut a piece of Night of Navy with the Stitch So Sweetly dies to get this beautiful edge. And I did trim this down so that it would frame inside that die cut edge. I didn't go so much as to have the stitched edge, though that might be nice. Should I do that maybe? I don't know. I think we'll avoid, we won't do the stitched edge today. I do have a bit of white showing here, so I'm actually going to go in with my brush again and just go over that white edge. It's just where I didn't cut right up. I just don't want that glaringly popping out from underneath my layers. I don't think it'll be too much a problem because my layer is also white, because that's leftovers. But now you can see I've covered up that bit of white. Okay. So we'll bring back our papers here. And I'm going to attach these directly to one another, and there is a bit of overlap, and I think I'm good with that. So I end up having the scalloped edge only on the right top and the bottom, and Yep, I think I like that. So we're going to keep that. So let's attach those together. I might put this in my entranceway in my house. It's a small entranceway. There's not a lot of space. Certainly not a lot of wall space, but maybe. Or maybe at the top of my stairs. Because that's where people come in as well. Or, like I said, I might give it away. I always like to do that as well. Okay, so that's going to go somewhere around there, but before I attach that, I want to attach my Love Grows Here sentiment from the hand-penned Memories and More card pack. I'm going to use dimensionals because that's why I cut it out from the background. So I have to lean up over top of my paper to make sure I line this up well. Let's make sure it's straight too. My grid paper is so good for that. Okay, so it's going to line up about there. I basically am covering up the hole that I cut it from. Okay, I think we got it. So yeah, so that's up on dimensionals. And then this element I'm going to, as a whole, is going to be up on dimensionals too. This is coming together so nice. I'm so excited. It's so pretty. Okay. I like making pretty things. I know you guys do too. Okay. So that's going to go on dimensionals. Now I'm just going to kind of get an idea of where I want it, because if I put any dimensionals up here, it's not going to lay down nicely because this is on dimensionals too. So I want to make sure wherever I put my dimensionals that they will be only on this white layer. So it's kind of a matter of determining just placement. It's quite, I don't think I want it in line with that paper, right? So I could choose, I often look at other lines in my designs. So I could have it so that it's sort of equal layers or distance here. But I think I'm thinking I want to go, I don't know now. I have a plan to put a big bow here. So imagine that covered up with the bow. So I could put it right to the edge, but then it's, yeah, I think it's gonna go here and maybe right about there. I think that's working for me. Okay, so that's where it's going to go, and I'm going to put it on dimensionals. So I know that my dimensionals, if I only want them to be attaching to this, I'm going to put my dimensionals kind of under, I'm not going to go past my label. Okay, so I'm thinking about there, and I was just thinking something else. Oh, I was contemplating whether I wanted to rough up these corners or do something there, but I don't know. I'll put my bow on first and then we'll see from there. So that's going to go right about there, I think. I'm committed. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, looking good. I like it. Getting a little more texture over here. Well, I'm showing a little label underneath. I don't want that. Let's do there. I like things sometimes a little torn when I do the texture thing. Okay, there. I'm liking this. It's working for me. So then I want to add a bow. And I saw one of the Stampin' Up artisan team shared a really cool technique with ribbon that I'm going to try on this card, or on this project. I have some like ginormous scissors that Stampin' Up used to sell. They don't sell them anymore, but these are just for ribbon and fabric. And they're nice, and they have a nice long blade, which is great for what I'm about to do, which is cut this ribbon in half lengthwise. So it takes a bit of patience. And just, I mean, I have to be precise enough that I'm not, you know, end up cutting a whole section away. But I'm just cutting up right in the middle. And this ribbon is stiff enough that it's kind to me and holds its shape well, fairly well, while I trim it. So then you end up with a much more kind of delicate ribbon. So I have that, but I'm also going to do the same thing with the crinkle, what do they call this? The white crinkle ribbon. And this is not as kind because it's very narrow, but it's also very floppy. It's very floppy ribbon. I probably should have cut this one in advance so that you guys didn't have to watch me struggle. But that's okay. When I upload this video to YouTube, I'll just speed this part up. See how awkward it is? It just doesn't want to hold its shape when I do this. So I have to be extra patient and hope that you will be extra patient as well while I trim this. And this ribbon does shed a bit. You get some strings sometimes. Oh, that one got a little close to the edge. Halfway there, ooh, living on a prayer. We're getting there. We're getting there. Why does this remind me of an episode of The Office? Any of you watch The Office? Oh, it's my favorite. There's an episode, or a few episodes, where Dwight is single plying. He has a equipment to single ply the toilet paper. Like it pulls the two layers apart so that he can save money because he's the building manager. That's what this process made me think of just now. Okay. So now we have these two much more delicate sections of ribbon. And I might add, maybe I'll put two of the purples together. 2 purples, 1 white. Let's see how that works. I think, no, I'm just going to do 1 purple. 1 purple, 1 white. Okay. And I'm going to do a double bow on my fingers. I don't know if you guys have seen me do a finger bow before. I have seen other people do this a different way, so I'll show you that as well. But when I do a double bow, oh, my fingers are so inky. I take the ribbon, I have some of it pinched between my middle finger and my thumb, and this bit's hanging down. I just want to make sure this is long enough for a tail. Then I wrap my ribbon around my index finger and my middle finger to make a double bow. Oh, I'm going to need to make this a little longer. To make a double bow, I have to wrap it 2 times, so I have 2 layers around each finger. Then this section can go between my fingers kind of over my thumb, and then this section will go over top of the section that's over my thumb, and then this is kind of tricky, but you want to pull it through so it's going over my thumb and over that section. Oh, it's hard with 2 ribbons. Challenging with 2 ribbons, but then you want to pull those 2 ribbons through where your thumb is. Again, very difficult with 2. There we go. And then I don't want to pull it up, I want to pull it toward my wrist to tighten the knot. And that, slide it off your fingers, and you have a double bow, which in this case is a quadruple bow because I had 2 ribbons. So now I have 4 of these very delicate ribbon bits. So I can attach that there, and I think I want it wider, which is a bit tough to do with this. So let me show you the other way that I saw how to make this kind of a bow. Similar technique, but not using your fingertips. Untying it can be almost as tricky as tying it. There we go. Okay, let's do that again. So now we're going to try it. I have to untangle it all. Okay, so now instead, let's find the middle. So find the middle, which is about there. And I can overlap and create my loops, what size I want. So I'm doing 2 loops on each side. Where's my other end? There we go. A loop on each side. So then I have, oops. Yep, I've got 2 on each side. Is that, I don't know if maybe that's still not as wide as I want, I don't think. Anyways, I'll just show you. And then you take one of your tails, wrap it around. And again, it's really fussy with these 2 very delicate bows or ribbons. And basically you're tying a knot around those 2 loops. I think I lost loops. I don't know what's happening. What is happening? Okay. And then I can tie that tight, and it's supposed to look like a bow. I think I lost one of my loops in there. But basically that section is tying, yeah, I lost one of them in that process. Basically you're looping it, and then you're using one of your ends to tie a knot around the loop. But see how it's, the threads are kind of coming loose here on that ribbon. because I'm messing with it too much. Okay. I'm going to grab the other one that I haven't messed with, and we're going to go back to the double bow. If I want my bow wider, I move my fingers apart more. Okay, so back to my double bow on my fingers. This is the one I know better. So I feel like I have a little more control just because I've practiced it more. So this is definitely a bow technique that you want to practice. And you will get better, I promise. Okay. Then I can tighten that. Oh, did you even, I hope you didn't lose me, or I didn't lose you there because I was off screen. There we go. So then I have my double bow. This time I'm happy with it. It's a little harder to adjust this bow. You have to kind of slide the knot. So if you need it bigger or smaller, you have to slide the knot out of the way. I'm going to take out some of these threads to clean up that ribbon a little bit. It's kind of like when you use hot glue and you end up with all those threads from your hot glue. It gets a little messy, a little spider webbish. Okay, some of these I'm just gonna have to trim off, I think. But it gives such a nice, delicate bow. Okay, I can fuss more with those later. Okay, so then that, all my threads on my paper, that little delicate bow is going to go right over here with a glue dot, because that's the way you do bows, or the way I do, unless I'm tying it on, which you know I like doing that too. I really like tying on my bows. So I'm going to, do I want to attach it to the label or to beside? I think I'll do it right beside the label. I kind of like the idea of kind of hiding that edge. So maybe I'll kind of do mostly on the label, but a little to the side, kind of both. I just want to make sure that it's on there nice. Okay, so then I can choose if I want my tails to go up and down. Fluff everywhere. That's sticking down more than I want. I'm going to tuck a little dimensional underneath that spot where the ribbon is, just because I have a little bit of a glue dot section that is, normally I use my take your pick tool for this bit, but I don't know, it's buried somewhere. Come on now. So I'm just going to tuck this underneath where my bow is, because it's wanting to stick to the paper and drop that section down, and I don't want that. So all right, looking cute, very cute. So then I can trim my tails. I think they're just gonna lay where they lay. Not sure if I want them to be up the top there like that, or if I want them to all go down. I'm not sure. I think it's looking okay that way though. All right, looking pretty. Let's separate my bow ends a little bit. Oh, see, it does want to go down there. We'll just make it go down maybe. Good. Then we have one more thing that I want to add to this. And this is still wanting to stick down. I think because this is 2 layers of dimensionals, so I'm going to tuck another dimensional underneath that first one, because remember, this is on dimensionals and this is on dimensionals, so over here I need 2 sets, 2 layers underneath my bow so that it sits how I want it to, the right height, you know what I mean? Okay, there. So now we have this lovely delicate double bow. Tails have decided they want to drop, and that's good, totally fine by me. Then we can go in and add some of these Playing with Patterns resin dots, because I have the yellow and I have the freesia, which isn't freesia in this case. I think maybe it's Purple Posy, but it's pretty close. Purple Posy has retired. So again, this is my challenged area. This is where I'm like, I don't know where I want to put them. Do I want yellow? Do I want purple? Do I want both? It is a dilemma for me. Let's start with purple. And we'll throw in a yellow. Like so. I think that works for me. Just to fill in this space a little bit. This is also an area that would work nicely for writing if you wanted to write, you know, if you're doing a scrapbook page, it's always good to do some journaling on the page. My bow is not staying tight and I don't know why. Whoops. That's okay. Once it's behind the glass, nobody will know, right? Okay, it should stay, I hope. There. I think I'm good with that. Well, maybe one more up here somewhere to balance out that one. How about we do another, I don't know, do we want another yellow one up there? Oops, right there. Yeah, we do. I want more purple ones too, though, but I don't want to, you know, overdo it because that's easy to do. I think I'll stick with what I got here. Okay, so then we have our final product, which I will put in this shadow box frame, and I will take a picture for you. But so just to give you an idea, it will be framed like that. So pretty. Oh, this worked out great. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you will, you know, try some home decor, because we need more beautiful things in our homes all the time, right? So this is an easy way to do it. We have the supplies in our craft rooms, and we can make it happen. So I will obviously actually put this inside the frame, not just on top, but this gives you an idea of how it looks. Thanks for watching. Have a great week, and I hope that you'll join me again next Monday for my next Facebook Live.